Let us take a look at the question 8B of the Wassce 2019 General Mathematics past question, which says in the diagram, ABC is a right angled triangle on horizontal ground. Take note, the right angled triangle is lying flat on a horizontal ground. Line AD is the vertical tower, so that's a tower that is protruding from point A from the ground. Angle BAC equals to 90 degrees. This is 90 degrees right here. Okay. Angle ACB is 35. This is 35 right here. Angle ABD is 52 degrees. And line BC is 66 meters. Find, correct to 2 decimal places, the height of the tower. Okay, we want to find the height of the tower, which is AD. AD is the height of the tower because we have been told that line AD is the vertical tower. And take note that this tower is on this point A of this triangle ABC, which is lying flat on a horizontal ground. Okay, now for us to be able to calculate this line AD, we need to calculate this line AB first, because if you take a look at this line, triangle ABD is also a right angle triangle, because this line AD is at right angle triangle, is perpendicular. Okay, so in this case also we need another we need to find another side that will help us to be able to find line AD. Okay, so now for us to do that, if you look at this, we know this angle to be 35, we know this to be 66 meters. So what I will do here first is to calculate this line first. If I'm able to calculate this line, then I will use that to be able to calculate line AD. Okay, let us take a look at this. I would say consider triangle ABC. Okay, now we know triangle ABC. Okay, now one thing you need to also remember is when we talk about SOHCAHTOA, take note, SOHCAHTOA, I'll put that right here, SOHCAHTOA. Okay, that is when we say this is sine, which is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine, which is adjacent over hypotenuse, tangent, which is opposite over adjacent. We are going to be using this in solving this problem set. Okay, now take a look at this. This is the triangle we want to consider right now, triangle ABC. Okay, now this angle is facing this side. If this angle is facing this side, that tells me that this is my opposite. The side that the angle you are considering is facing, take note, I said the side that is facing the angle you are considering is the opposite. So I'm considering this angle 35 is going to be facing this, so this is the opposite. Okay, so this is opposite, that is what I want to find first, and the longest side is the hypotenuse. So if you look at this side, this line AB, line AC, and line BC, which one do you think is the longest? Line BC is the longest, looking at it, right? So that means line BC is my hypotenuse. Okay, now if you look at this SOHCAHTOA, which one is the formula we are going to use in this case? It's going to be sine, because sine of an angle is opposite, O is opposite, H is hypotenuse. Okay, so that means I'll have sine of this angle 35 degrees, okay, equals to opposite, and we said that the line or the side that the angle is facing is the opposite, so that means line AB is the opposite line AB. Okay, over H is hypotenuse, which is the longest side, and we know that BC, line BC is the longest side of this triangle, like triangle ABC. So that is 66 meters. So I'll put 66 right there. Okay, let's go ahead and to solve the problem. Okay, now what is sine 35? If you check that in your calculator, make sure that your calculator is in degrees. Sine 35 is 0.5736, okay, equals to line AB over 66. We know that that is in meters, right? So if you take a look at this means over 1, right? So I can cross multiply right here, okay? So that means 1 times anything is that thing, right? That's AB. So that means I will have 1 times line AB is line AB, okay? And then I'll cross multiply this 0.5736 times 66 meters, right? If you multiply that together, that will give you 37.857 meters, which you can approximate to be 37.86 meters. Very good, guys, very good. If you take a look at this now, we have been able to calculate line AB to be 37.86 meters. So that means we've been able to calculate this side right here, 37.86. If you look at it, 37.86. We'll be able to calculate here, right? So that means for me to be able to calculate AD, I can consider this triangle, this right angle triangle right here now. Okay, I can consider this now. But now, what am I looking for? I'm looking for line AD, which is the height of the tower. Okay, now take a look at this very well. I'm looking for the height of the tower, right? I have an angle that is facing the height of the tower, right? So that means this angle is facing this side. That means this side is going to be the opposite right here. Okay, this side, line BD, is going to be the hypotenuse right here because that's the longest. Then that means the third part, the third line or the third side is going to be the adjacent. Okay, so now that tells you that if you want to solve this, problem now to find AD, what are you going to use? Is it going to be sine, cosine, or tangent? Take a look at it very well. We are looking for AD, okay, which is the opposite. We know the angle because the angle is facing here. We said this is the opposite. So we know angle. We are looking for opposite. You also know another side, which you call adjacent. So that means here we have a relationship between angle, opposite, and adjacent. Take note, angle, opposite, and adjacent, right? So which of these in SOHCAHTOA can we use? We have angle, that's the tan, opposite, and adjacent. Very good. So that means we're going to be using TOA, which means tan of the angle equals to the opposite divided by the adjacent. Okay, so that means I will come here now and I will say consider triangle ABD. So now we are considering triangle ABD. So we can say tan of an angle which is tan of 52 degrees. Okay, tan of 52 degrees, which is going to give us opposite. What is our opposite? Line AD, opposite, okay, which is line AD, over A is adjacent, line AB. And what is that? 37.86. We just calculated that, right? 37.86 meters. Very good, guys. I hope you all are getting this problem, the solution of this problem set. Okay, now if you take a look at this, what is tan 52? If you check that in your calculator, tan 52 will give you, tan 52 degrees will give you 1.2799, now equals to line AD, okay, over 37.86 meters. Remember, we are looking for line AD, and line AD is the height of the tower, okay? Now, if you take a look at this right now, this is pretty easy right now, okay? What can we do right here? We know that 1.2799 means 1.2799 over 1, right? So for me to calculate line AD, I can cross multiply. 1 times line AD is going to give me line AD, okay, equals to 1.2799 times 37.86 meters. If you multiply that together, that will give you 48.457 meters, okay? So we can approximate. The question says to approximate, it says correct to 2 decimal places, okay? So we can approximate these to 2 decimal places, because right now it is in 3 decimal places, because you have 3 digits right here, right after the point. So if I want to approximate this, I can approximate this 7 to this 5, right? So that's going to be 48.46 meters. Then you can say to 2 decimal places. That is your line AD, right? So that means you can conclude by saying, therefore, the height of tower equals to 48.46 meters. Very good. 48.46 meters. Take a look at this again. In the diagram, the height of the tower is AD. So what we did first was to calculate this side first before we can calculate this side, because if we don't have one of these sides, we will not be able to calculate line AD. Very good, guys. I hope you understand that concept. Now let us look at the next question. The next question says that we should calculate the angle of elevation of the top of the tower from C. Angle of elevation of the top of the tower from C. Okay, this is point C. Remember that triangle A, B, and C, they are on the ground. Okay, on the ground, and then the tower is placed on that triangle at point A, right, extending upwards. So now someone is at point C looking at the top of the tower. This is the top of the tower right here. Somebody is on C looking at the top of the tower, okay? So now we want to find the angle of elevation of the top of the tower. The angle of elevation of this top of the tower is going to be the angle right here. It's going to be the angle right here, okay? Because take note, remember again that ABC is on the ground, is flat on the ground. Take note, you shouldn't forget that it's flat on the ground, and somebody is looking at the top. So that means that the angle of elevation is going to be what? It's going to be right here. Okay, so now what I can do is you can say let the angle of elevation of the top of the tower be Y. Okay, you can say let the angle of elevation of the top of the tower from C be Y. Okay, let's put that down. Let's write that down. We can say question Roman figure 2. We can say let the angle of elevation of the top of the tower from C be Y. Okay, very good, very good. So now this is the logic right here. Now this is the angle of elevation of the top of the tower from C, Y. We want to find Y. Okay, but for us to be able to find Y, we need to know AC, because this Y is an angle, right? And we also already know this side right here. We just found this side. This is the height of the pole, which we found right here. Okay, we already found that right here to be 48.46 meters. Okay, we already found that. So now we know this side. Okay, we know this side. We are looking for this angle. For us to be able to do that, we need to find another side. For us to be able to calculate this Y, we need to find another side first. So what we can do is to find this side AC. We can find this line AC first. If you are able to find this line AC, then we can use line AD and line AC to find Y. I hope you guys get this concept right now. So let us go ahead to find line AC. For us to find line AC, we have to use this triangle ABC. Okay, so now let us go back to triangle ABC. Okay, we can say consider triangle ABC. Okay, now let us take a look at something right now. Let's take a look at something before we go ahead. Okay, now this is triangle A, B, and C. Okay, we are looking for AC. We know that BC is the longest side. BC is the longest side. That is your hypotenuse. This angle is facing this side. This is your opposite. That means the third side is the adjacent. So that tells me that this line right here is the adjacent. Okay, so we can use adjacent and hypotenuse, right? So if you want to use adjacent and hypotenuse, that means you have to use cosine. Take note of that. Okay, because you are looking for adjacent and we have hypotenuse, so we are going to use cosine. But if you want to, since we are looking for adjacent, if you want to use opposite, that's also possible. But in that case, you are going to use tangent. It's going to be tangent of 35. Okay, so whichever approach that you want to use is also fine. But it's preferably to use hypotenuse. This is because this is what the question has given you. If you use this one, 36.86, then let's assume that you had already made a mistake right here. Okay, so that means that whatever mistake that you already made here is going to be transferred to your line AC. So that means that you are going to miss your point. You are going to miss a lot of points at the end of the day. Okay, but in this case, I know we have not made any mistake, so we are good. But generally, it's good to just use the value that you were given in the question. Okay, so we are finding adjacent. We know hypotenuse. So now we are going to do cos. So it's going to be cos, that's cosine of 35, equals to adjacent, which is line AC, over 66. Okay, let's do that right now. I hope you guys are getting this concept. Okay, so let's do that quickly. So I will have cos 35 degrees equals to the adjacent, which is AC, line AC, over the hypotenuse, which is 66. Okay, cos 35 degrees is 0.8191. okay, equals to line AC over 66, right? 0.8191 means over 1, right? So in this case, what can we do? we can cross multiply. Okay, so 1 times line AC is going to give me line AC. Okay, so 0.8191 times 66, that is going to give me 54.06 meters. Very good, guys. Now we've been able to get line AC. Let's go back to the diagram, guys. Okay, if you take a look at this now, we've been able to get this side, which is 54.06. Very good. Now take a look at this. Now you have this is the height of the tower, which we found to be 48.46 meters. We know this side, 54.06 meters. So if we consider this triangle right here, this triangle ACD, and you want to find y, this is going to be pretty easy to find now, because what is the relationship between the angle, opposite, and adjacent? Take note, this one is hypotenuse here because that's the longest side. So what is the relationship between angle, opposite, and adjacent? Angle, that's tangent, opposite, and adjacent. So that means in this case we are going to be using tan, toa. We are going to be using toa. Okay, so now we want to find the angle of elevation. Remember, we already said that the angle of elevation is y. Okay, is y. So in this case now, I can come here now and say, consider triangle ACD, which we have already learned that tan, we are going to use toa, right? Tan of y, because we don't know y, that's what we are looking for, equals to opposite. We already said that the opposite is the height of the tower, which we already found to be 48.46 meters, over the adjacent. Remember, toa. Tangent equals to opposite over adjacent. Okay, so that's what we have, right? So what is our adjacent right here? 54.06. We already found that before. Okay, so if you do 48.46 meters divided by 54.06, that is going to give us 0.89641. that is equals to tan y. Okay, but take note, we are looking for y, right? So what you're going to do now is to find an arctan of 0.89641, because you're looking for y, right? 641, that is what we have there. So arctan of that is going to give us 41, if you use your calculator, 41.873 degrees. That is your y. Now the question says to leave our answer in 2 decimal places. That is going to be approximately 41.87 meters. So in that case, you can then conclude, remember that you had already said that let the angle of elevation of the top of the tower from C be y, right? Then you can then complete everything with a statement by saying, therefore, the angle of elevation of the top of the tower, okay, from C is what? 41.87 meters in 2 decimal places. Very good, guys. I hope you guys understand the solution to these problems. I will encourage you to take a look at this very well, okay, until you're able to convince yourself that you've understood this fundamental solution. Okay, guys, if you are new on this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button below and click on the bell to turn on your notification so you don't miss any of our videos. Please, I will encourage you to hit the subscribe button, because the more you guys subscribe to our channel, the more we are more encouraged and motivated to do more of such videos for you guys. All right, see you guys in the next class. Bye.